You know, before I get into the meat of this video, there's a few things that I need to say up front that will, of course, serve as the intro to this masterpiece. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do in this video is I'm going to attempt to navigate this subject matter in a very politically correct manner. And since I am going to have to address this subject matter, and you've seen the title of the video, since I'm going to have to address this subject matter being politically correct, you know I'm going to have to take the Me Too movement to the hole. And this once again pushes back those videos that I was going to do on those 3 murders. And actually all of this shit can tie in, but I still want to do those 3 videos. But I actually been doing them because I've been touching upon them in other videos that I've done. And I'm going to do it again in this Me Too video in the hole. I'm going to have to address that in the hole. You know what it is, second nature like breathing. If you want the Me Too movement video, Rabbit Hole Production, send me an email, I'll send you the link. And the reason why I'm going to produce that is because I'm going to have to deal with this one politically correct. But I'm going to tickle the corners of the plate. And since I'm forced to deal with this politically correct, I'm going to come straight down the middle of the plate in the hole, because there's some things that I want to address, and I want to do that in a manner that's rabbit hole friendly, if you will. So you know what it is, second nature like breathing, send me an email, I'll send you the link. And I've been sitting back, and I've had this Me Too movement under the microscope. I've had this movement under the microscope for quite some time. I've been sitting back. I haven't really referenced it. I've just been sitting back watching. And the reason why I've been analyzing this movement is based upon, number one, the black female that started it. That's the number one reason why I really put the Me Too movement under the microscope, is because of the black female who is responsible for the origin of the movement. And what you're currently reading, and you got this all going to come into play as we move forward. And like I said, I'm going to just tickle the corners of the plate in this video. I'm going to go much more in detail in the whole. Second nature like breathing, you know what it is. Send me an email, I'll send you the link. And there is some blatant hypocrisy in this movement. And I'm gonna touch upon it here in this video. And as you read the vision statement, now if you go to their website, Tarana Burke, I believe is her name, the black female who started the hashtag and actually started the organization. If you go to their official website, you're going to find this vision statement. And the reason why I underline that, you got to catch what the original intent of the hashtag Me Too movement was founded for. And it's right there in their vision statement. And again, if you go to their website, it's right there on their website. Can't miss it. It's the first thing that you see. I think there's a video of Ms. Burke. I didn't listen to the video. I'm not really interested in what she has to say. There's a donation button that you can donate to the organization, and then there's this vision statement. This is before you even go into the ins and outs of the organization. This is right there on the cover as soon as you get to the organization website. And as you can plainly read, she's talking about women, particularly young black women or women of color, low income, in other words, the hood, who are victims of sexual assault. This is what the organization was founded for. Now, I could actually just stop right there because we know what the organization has become, but we're going to deal with that in a minute. We're going to address that later on in the video. Because like I said, I've been having her, Ms. Burke, she's been on my radar. She's been on my radar ever since that Harvey Weinstein bullshit. And I say bullshit. Well, let me back up because I'm not in the hole. Let me scratch that from the record. Ever since that Harvey Weinstein was found guilty of sexually assaulting all of these women, and ever since that Harvey Weinstein piece, Miss Tarana Burke has been on my radar. I ain't said nothing. I just kept it quiet, just sitting back watching. I haven't done no video on it. I just was sitting back waiting to the opportune, the right moment to address this sister in the blatant hypocrisy in this movement. Blatant hypocrisy. Because what you have, and I'm going to deal with these two pieces of hypocrisy. There's many that I could pick from, but the two in particular that I want to address, I want to deal with this Judge Kavanaugh, the Supreme Court judge, or should be the Supreme Court judge. That whole fiasco of the female coming out some 30 years after the fact. 30 years after the fact. 36 years after the fact, to be more accurate. I want to deal with that, which it demonstrates the blatant hypocrisy. And the other piece of hypocrisy is, remember now, and the reason why I showed you the vision statement of the organization, the reason why it was founded, to deal with low-income black females or females of color. And I'm sitting back and I'm asking myself the rhetorical question, if you're talking about women who are victims of sexual assault, low-income women who are victims of sexual assault, how, why, where is the black pastor when it comes down to all of these people that y'all are taking pride in exposing? You go to her Twitter page and she got all of these bragging about all of these executives that this Me Too movement had outed. All of the well-to-do white men that they've outed. Now keep in mind now, you got to keep the vision statement in context. Keep that vision statement in context. When you look at who the movement is targeting, who they have targeted, and there's some brothers. I mean, you can include Bill Cosby, who got caught up in that, but it's not many. The majority of them are well-to-do, wealthy white men. But the organization says, based upon their mission statement, their intent is to deal with low-income black females. Now, none of these executives, none of these. The guy over at CBS, he ain't have no contact with no low-income black female. So how did the movement switch? When did their ideology switch How do you go from having a mission statement that says we are started because we want to deal with poor black girls who are victims of sexual assault? How do you go from that to Hollywood? And this is the blatant hypocrisy. Because if your design and your intent is to highlight or to deal with black girls who are victims of sexual assault, my God, who? I mean, people, come on now. Let's be real. Let's be real. Who? Rhetorical question coming. Who is the biggest manipulator, deceiver? Who is the biggest sexual deviant, predator, exploiter? Who in the black community occupies that position all by himself? Who? Who is it? But yet and still, when you look at who this Me Too movement has, all of the people that they are taking credit for putting on blast, putting on the carpet, not one black preacher. And that's kind of troubling once you consider the black church. I mean, really? And keep in mind now, the organization's mission statement. Their mission statement was what? Hey, we founded this organization to deal with poor black girls or females of color, low-income females of color who are victims of sexual assault. So then how did the movement change? What happened? How did it happen? What took place to where now all of a sudden you got all of these individuals, and I'm gonna have to deal with this in the whole, so I'm gonna be politically correct. I'm gonna just tickle the corners, but I'm gonna deal with this in the whole more in depth. Email, I'll send you the link. But how does it move? What happened to the movement? What happened to the organization? Where you can have a female who decides some 36 years after the fact that during high school, not even high school, we were juveniles, we were at a party together, and he sexually assaulted me. And you have people actually asking themselves, is this allegation politically motivated? I mean, come on now, America, are y'all that dumb? Are y'all that dumb? Of course this is politically motivated. This only comes to light when this dude is up for the Supreme Court. And then the female, when she initially talked about it, wanted to throw the stone and hide her hand. She didn't even want her name mentioned. She just wanted to make the allegation without being outed as far as who she was. So she wanted to accuse him of sexual assault, which she knows. You can't prove this. You can't prove. You're talking about something that happened 36 years ago. What evidence? How are you going to prove this? I want the FBI to investigate. Investigate what? Where's the evidence? The three people that you say were there, one of them said, I don't remember that happening. The other one, the judge, denies it. You saying he did it. So what does it boil down to? It boils down to he said, she said. And she knows there's no way that this is going to be proven because she knows that there's no way, whether it happened or not. She's not interested in it being proven. The damage is already done. The allegation is enough. So all I got to do is just make the allegation that he did that. That's damaging enough. Not that it can be proven. What do you want the FBI to investigate? I mean, this is utter hypocrisy. And I'm gonna say this. Well, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Matter of fact, let me take a sip of this because I almost said it. Let me back up. Let me back up. Let me calm down. That has to be in the hole. That, let me just scratch that from the. Just forget that. If you request the hole, I'll tell you what I was gonna say in the public video. I'll tell you in the hole, but let me say that. But let me get back to this. There's no way that this can be proven. Absolutely no way this can be proven. It was the same with Anita Hill. Now they're saying that this is an Anita Hill situation. No, this is not an Anita Hill situation, because in the Anita Hill, Clarence Thomas fiasco, those were consenting adults. Those are two adults. Now we're talking about two minors. We're talking about two children. And she's saying that he was drunk at a party and he sexually assaulted me. And there was another guy in the room. That's the only people around that knew what happened, can remember what happened 36 years ago. But I still want the FBI to investigate. I mean, this is insane. And then you got individuals, black and white. I just wonder if this is politically motivated. Get the hell out of here. Are y'all that dumb? I'm really, listen, I'm not a fan of Donald Trump, and I've been very consistent in telling y'all that the guy is in over his head. I mean, it's a joke. And I think everybody sees that now. But when he said, I love the poorly educated, I fully understand why he said that shit. When he made the mention that I love people who are poorly educated, I understand why he said that. I mean, y'all can't be this dumb to ask yourselves, is this politically motivated? Once you take into consideration who she supports, who's backing her, who's pushing her, who's applauding her, is this Me Too movement. The Me Too movement now, keep in mind, the mission statement to deal with poor black girls or girls of color who are victims of sexual assault. This Christy female, she's not black. And she's a college professor, so I would venture to say she's not low income. Neither are any of those Hollywood, or co-conspirators, because that's what they were. That's what they were. I mean, Harvey Weinstein didn't rape all those women. Let me back up. Let me stop. Back up. Man, he slipped up. Scratch that from the record. That's another statement that's going to have to be reserved for the whole. I'm in the belief that a lot of this is consensual, but it only becomes sexual assault when they are mad, when they're upset. And they use this whole sexual assault piece to get back at the perpetrator. But an event that was initially consensual. So now she's trying to derail a candidate for the Supreme Court by using an allegation that's 36 years old, that according to her own story, there were 3 people present. One being the judge, he denies it. The other one being the judge's friend, he can't recall it. And as a matter of fact, I believe he came out and denied it. But yet she still wants the FBI to investigate. Investigate what? What do you want them to investigate? I mean, this is not like this happened yesterday. This is 36 years ago. I mean, what do you want them to investigate when there's only 3 people that were present? This is a circus. This is a clown show. She knows that there is no way that this is going to be able to be proven. As he said, she said, it all depends on who you believe. In the American public, people are aligning against particular camps based upon their ideological persuasion. That's what it boils down to. But she knows the damage has already been done. The allegation is all I needed. And this is quite hypocritical from a white female doing this at the behest of a movement that was originally designed to deal with poor black girls. Now, how did this flip? How did this switch? And one more again, what we see, and I know y'all not gonna like this. I know y'all not gonna like this, but I told you I've had Tarana Burke under the microscope. I've been watching her. And one more again, what we see is we see the black female siding with the white feminists. Once again, this is what we see. We see the black female one more again, just like she did in the 60s. She took the feminist position in the 60s. Now, today, the black female would deny this ever happened, even though there's evidence that proves it. I mean, it's documented. This is what y'all did. You can't get around this. So now, even though you have evidence supporting what she did in the 60s, today in 2018, they will deny that ever happened. Just like 30 years from now, if this planet is still around, they're going to deny that they ever sided with the white feminists a second time with this Me Too movement. And we know they had to side with white feminists. How can we say that? Well, we can say that, number one, based upon the mission statement of the organization. That's the reason why I showed you it in the beginning. What did the mission statement say? I started this movement to deal with black, and I'm paraphrasing, you can go back and read it, to deal with black girls or girls of color, low income, who are victims of sexual abuse, sexual assault. That's what she said. So based upon her own admission, Miss Burke, as to why you started #MeToo. And now we can look at what Me Too has become. You went from the hood to Hollywood. So the white feminists picked up on your movement and they hijacked it. And now the Me Too movement is looked upon the movement. As a fact, that's the reason why Time magazine, who did they give the person of the year to? Who was the person of the year for Time magazine? It was the Me Too movement. Because the Me Too movement had changed. It had been hijacked from an organization dealing with poor black girls, as the mission statement says, to now dealing with Hollywood liberals who want to go after their exes and lovers. And that's basically what the movement has become. And that's the reason why when you go look at the list of individuals that this movement has outed or put on blast or take credit for getting fired, it's all wealthy white men. Now, based upon your mission statement, how do you connect those? How do you connect those unless you admit that this movement has been hijacked? And not only has it been hijacked, But the black female, one more again, didn't have a problem with it, and she sided with it. And that's the reason why Ms. Tarana Burke sits back and says absolutely nothing. Why a movement that she founded and started to deal with poor black girls being victims of sexual assault. And again, it's kind of comical. It's really comical to me how the black preachers, the black pastors are exempt. You don't have no hashtag Me Too in the black church. And that is the biggest exploiter. I mean, you have no bigger exploiter in the black community other than what takes place in those brothels, in those morgues, in those well-kept monuments of social, political, educational, economic failure, black churches. So if you have a movement designed to deal with black girls who are victims of sexual assault, and you not one time have outed one of these black pastors, come on now, stop. Stop. How serious do you want me to take you? The white feminists have hijacked your movement, and the black female don't have a problem with it. She sided with them. She applauded them using their movement to go after all of these Hollywood execs, all these top officials at CBS and these networks. The movement has taken on a transformation, so much so, Time magazine splattered. It's interesting that they splattered the women, the women who called out these individuals for sexual assault. They put them on the cover of the magazine. They ain't put that Tarana Burke on the cover. Y'all remember that? They put all the other individuals who had criticized or called out Harvey Weinstein, they put them on the cover as the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement has completely changed. The original founder of the movement wasn't even on the cover of that magazine. Go back and look at it. All that's on the cover of that Time magazine, people of the person of the year, are white women. There may be one Negro on there, but most certainly Tarana Burke wasn't on the cover, and she's the one that founded the movement. So it is transformed. It has been hijacked. And the hijacking of that movement has been endorsed by who? This black female. Once again, she sides with the white feminists. Once again, she takes their lead. And the reason why she took their lead is because they're putting listen, they're putting money in the coffers of that organization. Oh, yes, they are. Those Hollywood liberals are donating to that organization. Yes, they got this organization that they look upon as speaking out for them, dealing with sexual assault and sexual abuse and all this other crap. And they're donating billions of dollars, millions of dollars to this organization. And what gets lost in the shuffle, what's get forgotten and left behind. And it's kind of interesting that this is done by who? A black female, not a black male. Remember, he's the one that's supposed to abandon the black women. No, those sisters who are, again, at the mission statement, those sisters who, this is the reason why this organization was founded, to deal with these poor income, low income black women who have no other means, no other voice, no other avenue. That's what this organization was founded for. They got lost in the shuffle. They got left behind. Tarana Burke, a black female, has turned her back on them. And she turned her back on them as soon as the white liberals hijacked this organization and took it to where it is today, so much so that, again, Time Magazine selected it to be the Person of the Year. And there's no way in hell, Time Magazine would have selected #MeToo to be the Person of the Year if they were abiding by the original mission statement to deal with sexual abuse of black girls. There's no way that magazine would have made them Person of the Year. Calling out black preachers. It wouldn't have happened. It would not have happened. But the reason why that organization became Person of the Year lets you know that it has been hijacked, has been taken over, and those black girls have been kicked to the curb, tossed to the side. Nobody even talks about their issue. That's the reason why you don't see no black preachers getting caught up in this Me Too. They ain't targeting black preachers. Those Hollywood liberals don't go to black churches. They don't care nothing about what those preachers are doing with those black women inside those churches. No, they're using this organization to deal with Hollywood execs, to deal with heads of networks. These are white men that they're going after. So that lets you know that the movement has been co-opted, the movement has been hijacked, the movement has been taken over based upon its original mission statement. Don't take my word on it. Go read it for yourself. Now this here is the politically correct version. And I tried to be as nice as I could. And because I had to be nice in this video, I'm going to address this in the whole. You know what it is. Send me an email. I'll send you the link. Because at the end of the day,